Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment or two to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit and have your spine and back of your neck be nice and long and tall, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, bringing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is creating balance in the Vata season. So Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga, focusing on 3 doshas or energies. The doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kalpha. Autumn, or the fall, is Vata season, and it's governed by the elements of air and ether. And ether, you think of like space, air, think of like wind. Its characteristics, the Vata season, the characteristics are dry, light, cool, rough, and windy. So think of a cool, windy fall day with the dry leaves blowing about. The season of Vata actually lasts from October to February. So in those months in the New England area where we are, you can substitute snow for those drying leaves blowing about. But same characteristics, dry, light, cool, rough, and windy. And the key of Ayurveda is that like increases like and opposites bring balance. So in Vata season, you may have signs of an aggravated or heightened characteristics of the Vata. You may be feeling cold even in a warm environment. I was experiencing that last week. There was a day I just piling stuff on, couldn't get warm. It may be due to poor circulation or just the Vata season. You may have irregular digestion or irregular sleep patterns this time of year, lack of focus, forgetfulness, anxiousness. Think of that whirly, swirly, dry leaves creating that, that lack of focus for you. So how to balance that? Again, Vata season is about the elements air and ether, and then you would balance that with opposites, and the other elements are earth, water, and fire. So you would want to lean into things that are warm, moist, heavy, and slow. For example, eating root vegetables that bringing in the earth, broths, soups, bringing in water, warming spices like cinnamon and turmeric that brings in the fire. There's a great drink this time of year, a lot of people do make, is called golden milk, and that incorporates turmeric and cinnamon and a lot of those warming herbs, and you drink it warm. Another thing to do to balance yourself in Vata season is to establish a stable daily routine. Routine is very, very important. Get yourself in a structure so that that swirly, windy stuff doesn't affect you as much. So a practice of slow, gentle yoga, mindful walking, and meditation are great daily practices. Meditation, maybe extend your meditation time 5 minutes or longer. And then other self-care things during Vata season would be a self-massage with oil. And during Vata season, the recommended massage oils are a sesame and almond oil, not to be confused with cooking oils. They're for your body, keep your body nice and moist and not, to offset that dryness. And warm baths. And while you're in the tub soaking, the Vata season is a great time to connect with yourself and your goals. The two elements of Vata season, air and ether. Air is connected to the wisdom kosha, and kosha is a layer inside you. It involves your head and your mind. And the ether element is connected to the intuition kosha. So it's a great time to go inside and really kind of think about your inner well-being as well as your external well-being, setting goals, because it falls in that New Year's area. It's a great time to do that. So I have to end a quote from Henry David Thoreau, and I think it suits the Vata season too. He said, "If you have castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put foundations under them." So again, it's that airiness, but having that balance of putting that foundation under it. So for our pranayama, our breathing technique today, talking about balance, this is balance no matter what season it is. It's the Nodi Shodhana, which is the alternate nostril breathing. And this is a wonderful, wonderful breathing technique. We use the mudra Vishnu, which in itself is a balance mudra. So let's prepare for doing some of the Nodi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing by setting up our Vishnu mudra. So you have your hand up and you just bend your index and your middle finger, extending the remaining 3 fingers up. And you're going to use your thumb and your ring finger to close off your nostrils. They're going to alternate between the two. So we're going to start with closing off our right nostril with our thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. When we get to the top of the inhale, we're going to flip our ring finger to the left nostril and close that off and exhale through the right nostril. And then inhale through the right nostril again. We get to the top of the inhale, we're going to switch fingers, closing off the right nostril with the thumb and exhaling through the left nostril. So basically, anytime you reach the top of an inhale, you're going to want to switch fingers. So let's do that just for a few moments. Nice deep inhales and exhales. And you can continue on. We're going to segue into a meditation right now. If you don't want to keep doing the Nodi Shodhana, you can keep the mudra, the Vishnu mudra, and just balance that on your lap. And just take a nice, quiet meditation there, focusing on your breath. And I'll meet you on the mat. All righty, we can come into a neutral position. We're going to start our asana practice. Let's start with some sun breaths. And we're going to take our fingertips and place them on the mat beside us. And then inhale deeply through our nose, lifting our arms up overhead. And then exhaling deeply, bringing our fingertips back down to the mat. And really feel your fingertips. Focus on being connected to the mat, to the earth with your fingers. We're going to do a lot of that connecting to the earth to bounce off the wind today. So inhale again, up. And exhale down. Feel the connection with your fingers to the earth. Inhale up. And exhale down. Feel the fingers on the earth. And one last time, inhale up. And exhale down. And one of the counterbalances we talked about during Vata season is a nice, slow, gentle yoga practice. You want to stay warm. You want to be exerting enough energy to stay warm, but we're talking about slowness, control, and gentle movements for your body. So let's bring our soles of our feet together. Come into cobbler's pose. Wrap your hands either around your toes or around your ankles. We'll send our elbows toward our hips and then just kind of lean forward and gaze ahead as if you're gazing across a pond. Another thing to do during Vata season, we'll come back up, is to keep your gaze at the horizon or lower. You know, just the ether is the space. So again, we're balances is by doing the opposite thing. So we're going to keep our gaze kind of lower. So again, we're going to bring our elbows toward our knees and just pivot our waist forward, gazing across a little pond. and then come back up. And then one last time, send your elbows toward your knees, bending from the waist. Trying to stretch a little bit further perhaps, and then come back up. We'll take our right leg and place it in front of our left leg, so they're side by side. And we're going to walk our hands slowly out in front of us, doing a seated forward fold. Just kind of slowly walk till you get to that sweet spot of effort and relaxation. And then take a nice deep breath when you get there. And you'll know you're there if your breath can be nice and full. If it's a little shallow, then you back up just a little bit. Back up the truck a little bit. And then walk your hands over to the right and crab walk them over. And slowly control. And then walk our hands back up toward our right knee. And when we reach a sitting position, we're going to lift our right knee up, wrap our left arm around it, and send our right fingertips behind our hips and twist our torso to the right. All right, we'll come back to center and back to our cobbler's pose. Soles come together. Hands on your toes or wrapped around your ankles. Send your elbows out and lean forward a little bit. Sending your gaze out. And then come back up again. And then send your elbows down or toward your knees, pivoting from the waist, coming down. Exhaling, deep breath. Then inhale, come back up. And then one last time, elbows toward your knees, pivoting from the waist, sending the gaze out across the pond. And then come back up. Now we're going to place our left leg in front of our right leg. So they're sit side by side. And we'll walk our hands out slowly in front of us, seated forward fold, coming to that sweet spot. And then test that out with a nice deep breath. And then start walking your hands over to the left. And then walking them back toward your left knee. And then bringing your left knee up toward the sky, wrapping your right arm around your knee, sending your left fingertips behind your hips, and twisting your torso to the left. And we're going to roll down on your backs, but I'd like us to extend our legs forward, pointing our toes, lifting our hands up, pointing our fingers toward our toes, and then slowly roll back one vertebrae at a time. Then we come down. We come into reclined mountain pose and just connect your body with your mat, with the earth. Feel that connection in your heels, in your calves, in your glutes, your sits. Maybe tuck your navel in, bring your lower back down toward the mat. See if you can connect with the mat there. Bring your shoulders, if they're rounded up, try to bring them, opening up your chest, bring them contact with the mat. Tuck your chin a little bit down so that The back of your head is in nice contact with the mat. And just feel that support of the earth, support of the universe. And then we're going to bring our knees to our chest, wrap our hands around them, and give them a nice hug. And we'll do a few rowboats. So we'll place our hands on the top of our knees and then extend our arms fully forward, opening up our knees to each side, bringing the soles of our feet together, so as if we were doing the cobbler's pose. And then drawing our knees back toward our shoulders. Really feel that connection with your lower back and spine to the mat. And then close your knees over your chest. We'll do that 2 more times. So extend your arms fully out, opening your knees to each side, bringing the soles of your feet together. Drawing your knees back up toward your shoulders. The shoulders are nice, connected to the mat. Then close your knees over your chest. And one last time, extend your hands all the way forward. Opening up your knees to each side, soles come together. Really feel that connection of your feet together. Draw your knees back toward your shoulders. And then close your knees over your chest. And interlace your fingers and give your knees a nice hug. And then we're going to tuck our hands underneath our legs and roll up. So you can do that, as many times as it takes to get yourself back up. I know as our cores are getting stronger with all our yoga practice, oftentimes we could just roll up at one time, but that comes with time and building up strength in our core. So we're going to come and up onto a tabletop. So cross your legs and then kind of roll over across your legs so that you come forward and come into a tabletop. Tabletop, our wrists are right below our shoulders and our hands are gently pressing into the earth with our fingers splayed out. Knees are right below our hips, navel's tucked to the spine, create a nice level back. We'll do a few cat-cows here. And we're gonna do, when we bring up to the cow, we're not gonna lift our head up beyond just looking out to the horizon. We'll just keep our gaze to the horizon and lower. So we're gonna round our back on the exhale for cat. And then inhale, looking up, but just straight ahead at the horizon. For cow, and then rounding our back, exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. And just go at your own pace for a few moments, synchronizing your breath to your movements. And we'll come back to tabletop. And where your hands are, right below your shoulders, now replace your hands with your elbows. And bring our elbows down to the mat, extend our hands toward the front of the mat. And the arms are parallel. And then we're going to walk our knees back. We're going to come into extended puppy. So just keep walking your knees back until you can bring your forehead, your third eye down to the mat and connect with the earth that way. Nice stretch. This is what my dog Oscar does every morning. Well, actually, every time he gets up, basically. So there must be something really good in this stretch. And then we can come back up to tabletop and send our hips down to our ankles and coming into extended child's pose. And then back up to tabletop. And then we're going to actually bring our hips down to our ankles and bring our torso upright into hero's pose. We're going to bring our hands around our back and interlace the fingers behind our hips. And we're actually just going to do slow, gentle movements. So we're going to bring our fingers down toward the mat, probably touch our toes first, and that's fine. You can end right there. But with your hands interlaced, bring them down. You'll feel your chest and your arm, your shoulders expanding, opening up your chest. And then bring it back up. And then bring your hands back down toward the mat, toward your toes. Feeling that nice open chest. And then bring your hands back up. And then one last time, bringing them back down toward the mat. Extending them, opening up our chest nice and wide. And then release your hands. Come back to tabletop. And tuck your toes under. Walk your hands back. Coming up onto the balls of your feet, and then we're going to push down into the balls of our feet and come up to mountain pose. And mountain pose is a wonderful, and we do it every day, but a wonderful pose to really connect with the earth. You know, you have to be mindful about that connection, because normally we just kind of go about our business, and we're usually in that upright mountain pose position. But so let's lift our toes up off the mat, spreading the toes as far apart as we can, and then bringing the toes back down to the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bringing our heels back down and feeling that connection. And then we'll just, again, go through the mountain pose, the essential good posture. We went through mountain pose when we were in the reclined position, but again, nice strong legs, soft bend in the knees, navel tucked to the spine, shoulders relaxed and rolled back, chin slightly tucked toward your chest, crown of your head reaching up toward the sky. And we'll sweep our hands up with a big inhale. And then exhale, bring our hands down to the ground. Feel that connection again to the earth. And just check in with ourselves, see how we feel today. Sending any nourishing breaths to any tension we may feel physically or even emotionally. And then inhale, lifting our hands up to our shins, flattening our back for half forward fold, sending our gaze down. And then dropping the crown of our head down toward the mat, letting gravity take over, counteract the airy ether. Then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. We're going to come up onto our tippy toes and do a few sun breaths here. So our hands are up and we're up on our tippy toes. And then exhale, bringing our hands slowly down with control and then lowering our heels to the mat slowly with control. And then we'll sweep them up. We'll do this a couple more times. Sweep our hands up and come up onto our tippy toes at the same time. And just really feel that we are rooted into the earth. And no matter how much the wind blows, exhale, come down. No matter how much the wind blows, we have our connection to the earth, our roots. And one last time, sweeping up with control. All the way up onto our tippy toes, and then exhale, coming back down, really mindful of our hands coming down and our feet reconnecting with the earth. And we'll bring our hands, continue the journey, bring them all the way back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go to support our lower back. And inhale, bringing our hands up to our shins, flattening out our back in half forward fold. And then dropping the crown of our head down toward the mat. And then inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead, palms come together. And for supported side stretch, we're going to bring our right hand down to our right thigh and slide it down toward our right knee, creating a nice crescent shape. I don't know if anyone saw the moon the other night before the clouds came back in, come back up. It was a beautiful crescent shape in the south sky. And then the left hand comes down the left thigh. Slide that left hand toward your left knee. Back up. And we'll do that one more time on the right side. Right hand to right thigh. Slide it down to the right knee. And inhale, come back up. And left hand comes down the left thigh. Slide it down to left knee. And then come back up. And then we'll bring both hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Connecting with the earth, really feel that connection with your hands to the mat, to the earth. And then lift up to our shins, flatten out our back, sending our gaze down. And then dropping the crown of our head down. Letting gravity really pull us into a nice stretch. And then sweep our hands all the way up again. Hands come up overhead, palms come together, palms come to heart center. And I'm going to turn to the side here, and we're going to do a leg lift and extend it in back of us. So with control, just lift. Start with the right leg, lift our right leg so that's at a 90-degree angle. And feel really, get your stability in a good place. And then we're going to send that right foot in back of us and let it land on our big toe, on the ball of our foot. And then bring our heel, our back heel down toward the ground. So you feel that real nice stretch in your calf. And then bring that right leg back. We'll do that on the left side. So lifting your left leg up. Find the stability in this. You may want to tuck your navel to your spine. Relax your shoulders. The essentials of mountain pose. And then bring that left foot in back of you. And then feeling that connection with the earth, with your big toe, then the ball of your foot, and then riding that down. See if you can place the heel of your foot on the mat. And we'll bring that back. We'll do that on each side again. So we'll lift our right leg up. And then send it back when you're ready. Landing with the toe, then the ball of your foot, and then the heel. And come back, and we'll do that one last time on the left side, lifting the left leg up. And then with control and mindfulness, bringing it behind us, landing with the toe, then the ball of the foot, and then seeing if you can bring your heel down to the mat. And then we come back. We'll inhale, sweeping our hands up over our head. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, crown of the head comes down to the mat. And then sweep our hands up and over our head. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then palms come to the back of our hips. So our fingertips are facing down toward the earth. Feet are about hip width apart. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked slightly to your chest. And then we'll just let our shoulders relax and drop back into a supported back bend. Again, check your breath. See if your breath is flowing nice and evenly. And if it's a little shallow, just kind of come back up till you find that sweet spot. And then we'll come back up and we'll continue on. So we'll sweep our arms up, overhead, big inhale. Exhale, bring our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Then we're gonna extend both legs back to downward dog. So come into your best downward dog position. Fingers could be splayed apart, index finger reaching to the front of the mat. Arms are nice and straight, strong. Chest is reaching toward your thighs. Feet are pedaling, just kind of relaxing. And then with our left leg, we're going to bring our left knee to our left elbow, pushing off with our right toes. Here we go. And then bring it back again to downward dog. Pedal out here, even more steps. And then we're bringing that knee to our left elbow again. Inhale, push off with the right foot. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. And this third one, we're going to bring our left foot up and between our hands coming into runner's lunge. So inhale, lift our foot up, bring it ahead. You can guide it with your hands to the point you are in runner's lunge. Your knees stacked over your ankle, hands are framing your foot, back heel is pushing toward the back of the mat. And then bring your right knee down to the mat, the top of your right foot down to the mat. And we'll do a few half monkeys here. So keeping your hands where they are, we're going to straighten out our front leg and ride our front thigh with our chest down. So we're going to bring keep our contact with our body and our leg and bring our head down toward our knee. And then inhale, coming back up to that lunge position where your knee's right over your ankle. We'll do that 2 more times. So straighten out your front leg, riding it down, bringing your nose toward your knee. And then come back up again to the lunge position. And one more time, straightening out that front leg, riding it down, bring your nose to your knee. And then come back up again to the lunge position where your knee's right over your ankle. We're going to tuck our back toes under and come up into that runner's lunge. And bring both hands to the right side of your front foot. And we're going to walk our hands along the long side of the mat, coming into a wide-legged stance. Our toes are pointing to the corners of the mat. Heels are tucked in, 45-degree angle. We're going to bring our palms to the floor. And if you can, you just bring your elbows down toward the floor as far as you can go. And then stretching them back up again so the arms are nice and straight. And then we'll walk our hands over to our right foot and see if we can bring our nose toward our knee. And then we'll walk our hands along the long side of the mat, bring them over to the left foot. Let's see if we can bring our nose to our knee there. And then we're going to walk our hands back to center. We bend our knees slightly, bring our hands to our hips, bring our torso upright. And we're in a standing wide-legged stance. You want to adjust your feet there so they're nice and comfortable and stable, feels stable for you. And then we're going to sweep our hands up to shoulder height. And then bending our knees and bending our elbows, we're going to come into goddess with goalpost arms. And then inhale, come back up, extending your arms straight out, legs are nice and straight. We'll do that 2 more times, so bend your knees and your elbows, lowering down into goddess. And then come back up again. Arms extend fully. And then slowly with control, we're going to bend our arms and knees again. And come down. See, come down just a little bit further. And then back up again. Extending our arms straight out. We're going to pivot our right foot and our left foot and come into warrior 2. So bend our left leg so that we're in the lunge position, knees right over your ankle. You can see your big toe. Your chest is open to your long side of the mat. And slowly turn, gaze at your left fingertips. Really feel that connection with your feet to the mat. Maybe push down and push toward the short ends of the mat, really feeling connected and strong. And then we're going to bring our left forearm to our left thigh, sending our gaze down toward our left toe. We're going to bring our right hand to our right hip and really open up our chest. Just kind of bring your elbow toward the back to open up your chest. And then bring both hands down, pivoting on your feet. Coming back to runner's lunge. You bring your left foot back to meet your right foot and come into plank pose. And then with plank pose, we're going to lower either chaturanga or knees, chest, chin down to the mat, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. Slowly with control. Bring your arms alongside of you with your palms facing up. And then relax one side of your face on the mat. And this is the supine Shavasana. Just relax here for a moment. And then bring your hands below your shoulders. We'll keep your elbows tucked toward your sides. And we're going to lift our chin and chest up, pushing gently down until our hands come into cobra. And then keep pushing down, come up to tabletop, and then we're going to come into child's pose. In this child's pose, we're going to bring our arms around us, interlace our fingers behind our hips. And then we're going to push our hands down toward the end of the mat, which will cause us, I think, at least for me, cause us to kind of come into a tighter little ball. Our head comes closer to our knees. We come into this tight little ball of hibernation. So pushing your hands down toward the end of the mat, will round your shoulders, will tuck your chin in, bring yourself into a nice little snug hibernation tuck. And then release your hands, come back up to tabletop. And we'll do that on the other side. So tuck your toes under, come up into downward dog, and pedal out here for a few moments. And then on the inhale, we're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow. Inhale, pushing off of the left foot. And then back again. Pedal out. And then inhale, right knee to right elbow, pushing off with your left foot. And then back to downward dog. And then we're going to bring our right foot up between our hands into a runner's lunge. So inhale, lift the right foot up, bring it between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. Knees stacked over your ankle. Back heels pushing to the back of the mat. And then bring your left knee down to the mat. Left top of your foot comes down to the mat. We'll do some half monkeys again. So keeping your hands where they are. We're going to ride our right leg down, straightening as it goes. And try to reach our nose to our knee. And then come back up into lunge, where the knee's right over the ankle. And we'll do that 2 more times. So riding your right leg down as it straightens, bringing your nose to your right knee, and then back up again. Back to lunge position. And then one last time, straightening out your right leg, riding it down, nose comes to knee. And then come back up again. We tuck our back toes or left toes under, coming back up into runner's lunge. Bring both hands to the left side of your foot And then walk your hands along the long side of the mat. Toes are pointing to the corners of the mat. Heels are tucked in, 45 degrees. Hands are connected with the earth, the mat, and just gently lower your elbows down toward the mat. And then extend them fully again. And we'll walk our hands over to our left foot, bringing our nose to our knee. And then slowly walk them over to our right foot, bringing our nose to our knee, and then walking them back to center. Gently bend your knees, and bring your hands to your waist, and bring your torso upright. I'll turn around, and we'll come into a wide-legged stance. Get my feet bearings here. Toes are pointing to the corners. Heels are tucked in. We're going to sweep our arms up to shoulder height. And then we'll do a few goddesses here. So we'll bring our knees, or bend our knees, bending our elbows, bringing our hips down toward the mat. And then back up again, slow with control, extending our arms fully. And then bringing our hands, bending our elbows and our knees down, coming into goddess again. And then coming back up. And one last time, bending the elbows and the knees. See if you come a little bit lower. Really feel connected. And then bring yourself back up again. We'll pivot our left foot around so it's pointing toward the short edge of the mat. Same with the right foot. And then coming into warrior two. Right knees over the right ankle. Arms are extended. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. And then slowly turn your gaze to your right fingertips. Really feel that your feet are dug deep into the mat, pushing down, pushing out. And then bring your right arm to your right thigh, sending your gaze down toward your right toes. We'll bring your left hand to your waist and just revolve your chest so that's really open. And then bring your both hands back down to the mat, coming into runner's lunge. We bring our right foot back to meet with the left foot, coming into plank pose. Wrists are right below your shoulders. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat, navel's tucked to the spine. With your elbows tucked, coming toward you, lower down to the mat. And then bring your arms alongside of you, palms facing up. And rest on the other side of your face. In the supine Shavasana. And then slowly bring your hands below your shoulders, elbows tuck in. We're gonna lift our chin straight up, lifting our chest straight up, And then gently push into our hands, coming into Cobra. And then keep pushing, coming up to tabletop. And then lowering your hips to your heels, coming into child's pose. In this child's pose, we're gonna wrap our arms around our back, interlacing our fingers right on our hips, and then pushing our hands down toward the short edge of the mat. That'll curl us under, tuck our chin under, and come into that nice, cozy hibernation pose. And then release your hands, come back up to tabletop. You cross your legs behind you and then lower your seat so that you come into a seated position. And you can extend your legs out, coming into staff pose. And I'm gonna turn around because I believe being in this direction. And then with staff pose, we're just going to do a few forward folds over. So we're gonna sweep our hands up and then lower our hands toward our toes, and they might land on your part of your legs, and that's fine. Just find that sweet spot for you. Sweeping up, and then you can land them on your toes, that's fine. Bringing your nose down toward your knee. And then just hold for a few moments and release. And we'll do one more, lifting our arms up. And then pivoting from the waist, we're gonna bring our arms down toward our toes. Nose comes down toward our knees. And then release. And we'll roll back, same way as we did earlier. So our legs are extended. Extend our arms and slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Bring our knees to our chest. Give them a nice hug. And rock back and forth. Massaging our lower back. If you'd like, you can make nice big circles with your toes. One way, and then go the opposite direction. And then we'll extend our feet to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. We'll let our feet go to the corners of the mat and just relax them. Maybe take a nice deep inhale and exhale and move up your body with those breaths. On the exhale, relaxing yet another part of your body, from your feet to your knees, to your hips, to your arms. Arms are open, palms facing up and relaxed. To your shoulders. And then to your face. This morning, I have a poem for you by Louise Gluck, who was Vermont's poet laureate from 1994 to 1998. She also won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1993 and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2020. And she was a Vermonter, and she unfortunately passed away last week. This poem is titled October, and there are 6 verses. I'm just going to read the last verse. It's a long poem. The brightness of the day becomes the brightness of the night. The fire becomes the mirror. My friend, the earth is bitter. I think sunlight has failed her. Bitter or weary, it is hard to say. Between herself and the sun, something has ended. She wants now to be left alone. I think we must give up turning to her for affirmation. Above the fields, above the roofs of the village houses, the brilliance that made all life possible becomes the cold stars. Lie still and watch. They give nothing, but ask nothing. From within the earth's bitter disgrace, coldness, and barrenness, my friend, the moon rises. She is beautiful tonight. But when is she not beautiful?